Hey everybody, I'm reviewing Flip City today. This is a super short video because this is a very simple game. I'm just going to tell you how to play and what I think about it. Let's get down to the table. Okay, so what you're going to do is take all the cards out and you're going to set them up into piles. You have your residential area, convenience store, hospital, factory, and Central Park. There is an option to play with the office cards here, but I'm just choosing not to because it just says it's an option. I have played the solo variant of this, kind of interesting. Like I said, I'm going to give you my thoughts and reviews at the end. I like to put them, this is the cost to buy them, 2, 4, 5, and 7 to acquire those cards in your hand. And each card are double-sided. There's abilities that you can pay to flip the cards, and they will have a different ability on the back side and on the bottom and how much they're worth. And there's little victory points. Okay, so you're going to take 4 of these cards, which I have out here to make your starting hand. You're going to take one of the residential areas over and start it as an apartment. Put it into your hand. You're going to take one of each one of the cards there and then put them up. So that should give you 9 cards. You're going to put them all into your hand and shuffle them up, which I'm going to take 2 seconds and shuffle them. Okay, so shuffling's done. When you shuffle cards, you should probably just keep them, you're supposed to shuffle like either under the table or not look at them because it's all about not revealing the next card in line. So basically it's like a little push your luck game and a little bit of a mini deck builder with the piles that you have in front of you. So the whole object of the game is to get victory points, which are these guys, in front of you and play at one time. So it says if you get 8 of those, or if this is in play, this is a win condition too. It says if you play 18 or more cards this turn, you win. That's a heck of a lot of cards, people. So anyway, the main thing are these residential cards. Of course, you got 4 of those in your starting deck. So they do a couple things. The bottom left gives you money. So you read first of all to see if it is on here. It says when residential area is on the top card of your deck, you must play it. So it's there. So I have to play this one. So that'll go into play. A lot of times they don't trigger until they go into play, but it was conditional, which is this little symbol here. So you always have to look at those. So basically that adds 1 gold, 1 unhappy face. During your time when you're playing cards out, if you get 3 unhappy faces, it immediately ends your turn because there's 2 phases. It's the playing card phase, which we're doing now, and then there's basically the buying card phase where you do all these. It's called the building. You can do 3 different things, but we'll get there in just 1 second. So anyway, let's see. So then you look at your next card and it's like, do I stop with my 1 gold or do I, 1 coinage? I mean, there's nothing I can buy, so I kind of have to go on here. So now the next card is a hospital. It'll give me a happy face, but it won't bust me yet. So I'll take a chance hoping it's not one of these because I have to play that if it's on the top of my deck. So I'll play the hospital. And the hospital special ability is the first thing you look at, you have to resolve. It says gain 1 coin for each unhappy face you have, including this one, gained so far this turn, including this one on this card. So previously, so this card, I look backwards, I'll say this is worth 1, 2. If I play any more with unhappy faces, of course it busts me. Excuse me, not unhappy faces. Yeah, for unhappy faces, it busts me, so it will do no good. So anyway, so this is worth 2. And this is worth 1, so that's 3. So technically, I could buy the convenience store. So during my turn, I can look at the top of my deck. Do I want to do this one? This one gives me 2 victory points in the bottom left here. That's for flipping the card, and I'll explain that in a little bit. That says you may buy 1 additional time. So if this was in play, if I decided to play it, I could buy multiple things. But I can't really afford that much at the beginning, so I'd probably just purchase this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. This will stay on top of my deck because that always does. And then you'll go to your building phase, which there's 3 things you do. You can buy, which I'm going to do. I'm going to pay the 2 and buy this guy, and that all goes to your discard pile. But I could do the flip, which means if there's a card in your discard pile, let's just say this residential area was in there, I could pay 1 and flip this card. And that flips it to an apartment. So when I finally get to the apartment, which there's one in my deck, when I play it, it would trigger this ability. It says flip this card and place it on top of another player's discard pile. So you're just trying to chunk this out because it gives you unhappy faces and it's not very powerful. So it's kind of good to get rid of. In the solo variant, you just get to discard it, which is excellent. So you won't be seeing that back in, but you're on a timer. So anyway, that's the flipping ability. And each one has different flipping abilities. Like if you play this, if it's in your discard pile and you had money, you could, remember you have to do it first. So out here is that you don't get to discard it until you're done with all your actions. So this one, if you flip it over, it's now worth 2 and a victory point. And its new condition is, it says, if your deck is not empty, you must play an additional card. So when you put this in play, you'd have to play the next card behind it. Okay, so the third thing you can do in this phase is develop, which means you're going to buy a card and develop it at the same time, and then you can buy it developed. So if I had 8 coins, I could take this and buy it flipped, and then I would get a church. And a church lets me basically add 1 to the limit of my unhappy phases. So instead of busting on 3, I would bust on 4 or 5 if I had 2 churches and so forth. Okay, so I jump back to the play phase before this. When I'm playing the cards out in front of you, there was something else you could do if you had a card that had a recycle symbol on it. Let me see. Was that the not the apartment? Where's it at here? Okay, here we go. Recycle. Like you could recycle the church. So you could actually recycle this church. So when it's in play, it adds 1 to your unhappy limit. But if you decide to recycle this, you will gain this ability. So basically, during my turn, you can recycle a card. So I could, like while it's in my discard pile, while I'm playing cards, I can flip this over back to the hospital side, which probably isn't as good, obviously, but it lets me extend my unhappiness card one more, during that time. So it's like I'm temporarily reaching to get that, but it's back on its hospital side. So if I want to flip it again, I'd have to pay 4 during the building phase. And I know that's like a lot of little information, but it's real simple. The sheet is right here in front of you. It's basically a really small map, so the rules are really simple. So basically you play, you keep pushing your luck. If you run out of cards, you take your discard pile and hand them and reshuffle them back to your hand. And there's a few little questions here and there, but it's pretty easy to figure out. But basically it's like a really mini deck builder. And you're just trying to race to the victory points with these kind of limited cards. So let me tell you what I think about it. Okay, so Flip City, it plays 1 to 4 players. It's kind of a little small mini deck builder with some unique ideas playing it. Let your mind think a little bit. I enjoyed the creativity of the game. I feel like it's kind of too small for me. It's a nice little filler, or if you just want to show somebody some different mechanics, but it's not like, as for me, as enjoyable as playing a bigger deck builder like the classic Dominion or something even bigger than that, or even something what I call more fun and fast, which is like Star Realms. But it's also not aggressive. If you want to find somebody who wants to play, who really likes this, that likes games that are like, oh, I'm having fun with my little city and we're just kind of doing points. I mean, I would probably rather play Machikoro because it feels like I have the randomness of a die going around and I'm actually acquiring things. This, for how small it is a little thinky, a little puzzly. I'll probably keep it because it's enjoyable enough, but I'm probably not going to play this a whole lot. It's just going to be a quick in-between games like, hey guys, do you want to just do something? Like we just put away Scythe and we're about to go to, I don't know, Blood Rage. In between, it's like, let's play this quick little game. It's good for that. Overall, I give it a pass on games because it has some unique abilities that I really like in it that I haven't seen playing that way before. But overall, I probably won't play it a lot. It's just a very specific type of game. So I give it a good. It passes in the game category. But it's just not like something like I go, man, I can't wait to play some Flip City. It's so fun. That's just me personally. But anyway, thanks for watching. And until next time, keep the dice rolling.